everyone, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. I have just finished up this project and the tutorial, call it my Bloom and Grow photo frame landscape album. Can't even think of what I call my own album. This is using the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Indigo Garden design team package from Country Craft Creations. So the tutorial videos and with the walkthrough is on my channel for this. This is what I have left over that I plan to try to make something else out of. I don't have a whole lot. I used nearly all of it on that. These are my little bits of scraps here on the side of the pattern paper. This is all I have left. And then I have a full sheet of from the basics kit and some of the larger scraps of that. And then very few stickers left. This is what I have left of a full pack of craft cardstock. This is what I used on that album. And so that's what I'm going to attempt to make a small project, share that with you, so stay tuned. So what I've decided to make out of some of these scraps is a file folder type card. It could be an insert into an album or whatever you want it to. Now, I don't have big enough sheets of this for my base, so I'm going to piece it together. And I'll explain that as I go. So I want the card to be, let's see, let's make it a 6-inch card I want it shaped like a file folder. 4.5. Let's do 4.5 by 6. Too small. 4.5 by 6. I could have done that out of that. No, I want it bigger than that. Having to think. So I may have to grab another piece of big scrap. File folder. Let's see what else I've got in here. A couple of these others. Okay, lay that aside. So these two, I'll make them 4 1/4. Just straightening them out. 4 1/4. So you have to adapt this to whatever size scraps you have. Then I want this to be, let's do 6. Let's do 6.5. That's only a little bit bigger than what I was doing in the first place, but for a card, I think that's going to, folder card, that's going to work. So we have these two pieces. This is our front and our back. And then we need to cut a piece that is 6.5. And I'm going to make it 1 inch for the hinge to put it together. So we'll do that. Now you could definitely use your scoreboard. I'm just going to fold it in half. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to see it. So I'm just folding it from the half. From the center, I'm burnishing it out. Okay. Like I said, you could use your scoreboard and you would score it at 1/2 inch. Like that. Okay. So let's take these two pieces and we're going to put a hinge on the inside and put these two pieces together to make our little mini file folder. So we could call it that, a mini file folder insert type thing. You could use it as a card if you wanted to. So I put glue on one side of the hinge and I'm going to put the fold of the hinge to one edge of the bigger piece here. Kind of line it up. If I don't have them cut right down here, I will just trim that off. So burnish that. Okay. Let's see, I do have it a little longer there, so I just grab some scissors and snip that off. And make that the correct size. Now I've got it laying here with the hinge like this. We put glue on the hinge. And we line this up to make our little file folder. And then we're going to need to add a tab to it. So we line these all up, make sure they're lined up. The edges here. Okay. It's pretty good. Okay, so there's that one lined up like that. I'm just going to burnish it. Now, file folders need a tab. So let me see what I've got that I can make a tab with. To make a tab, you could use a punch, like I have the older Stampin' Up! Tab punch, which is a fold over tab. You could just cut a piece and round the corners, you know, for a tab at the top. I have here a tab punch board. I very rarely use it. And I thought, well, I'm going to give it a try. So I have a piece of scrap. It doesn't matter. This is what, about 5 inches long. I cut it to 1.5. And I'm going to put this in on the L here, right here where it says 4 and L. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter because it matters on where you end up. So I'm going to punch it so it gives me that rounded right there. And then I'm going to flip it over. That's going to be too big. And I'm just going to kind of see how wide I might want my punch. So I'm lining it up over here. So it's got the little drawing. So I put it right, don't want it that small, the small one right there. And I'm just going to punch. So that gives me that small little tab there. And then all I'm going to do is go in and cut. See, normally you would do this on your little file folder with this. I just want to be able to add it on. So I have it there ready to use. I'm going to trim it down some. So I'll put that away. So I just need one. Okay. And now we need to add some paper. What we've got that we can use. I am going to trim this down just a little bit. Make it, put it at 1 inch. Yeah, I think 1 inch will work. Okay, so there's my tab that I'll be gluing on. I'm going to lay that right up there. Don't want to lose it. Okay, so let's give us a little more room with the mat here and the trimmer. There we go. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. We've got some of the solid papers. Okay, so we've got enough there to do the front and the back. So I need 2 that are, and I'm going to make them really close. This is 6.5 by 4 and supposed to be 4 1/4. I'm going to straighten this up because on this one end it's not quite even, so it's going to make it 4 1/4. Just sliced off a little bit there, so that's 4 1/4 now. 6.5 by 4 1/4. So let's cut out 2 pieces that are, I'm going to make it just under 6.5, like by 1/16 of an inch, by 4 1/4. I hope I didn't mess this up. There's one. Okay, so there's one. The other one out of this other piece. Let's do 4 1/4, just under 4 1/4, like 4 and 3/16. There we go. Just want a tiny margin, mostly paper, 6.5, so just a 1/16 under. Save all these little scraps, we might need them. So now we have this that we can glue on. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these front and backs on. Now I'm using the green. If you wanted to use the pink, whatever color you want, if you're using the scraps. Hopefully you have enough, or you may have scraps from another collection that you want to do this with. Okay, so let me move these out of the way. There we go. Let's line this up. And as you see, it just fits almost exactly on there. Flip it over. Okay, flip it over and put it here. So what could you do with these little file folders? You could put them in an album in a pocket. You could use them as a gift, you know, like a card, like I said. So we've got that. Now let's see what we have for inside, because we're going to need to pattern the inside. So I do have the full sheet of the pink with the white. I think I'm going to use the white. So these are going to be cut the same. So let's cut it the 4 1/4, almost 4 1/4. Twice, because you can't get 2 of the 6s, 6 1/2 out of one length here. Okay, we set that aside. Turn it and cut the 6 1/2. Just under 6 1/2, remember, not exactly, because that's the size of the folder. Okay, there we go. And we glue these in. Yes, and it does cover up the seam of the hinge. So let's go ahead and put glue on these. Then we'll put the tab on. But today I can't get things on straight. There we go. Or maybe I can't cut straight. One or the other. There we go. That'll do. A little off on one side, but that's okay. So turn it around. Where's my piece? There it is. Okay. And glue this one on. So this, I would think, something fun to do if you don't have much time and you want to craft because it relaxes you, or, you know, you need something quick. Or like I said, you need to go in your album. So you burnish that down. So there's our little file folder. Where'd my tab go? There it is. Now I need to do some patterned paper on that. So, goodness, I don't know if I remembered what size I punched. That one looks crooked too. Trim it this side. Okay. So I'm going to look at my little bitty scraps of paper here. See what I can put on here. This little square one here. So rather than mess it up by punching it, I'm just going to trace around it and then cut it down a little smaller. So just trace my tab. Okay. Take my smaller scissors and cut to the inside of that line I drew, rounding it up at the top. Now I placed it on the bottom in a little ways, so I should not have to cut that. So let's see what it looks like. And I'm only going to do one side, okay? If you want to put pattern paper on both, that's fine. It's just up to you. Or maybe you have a little bit of washi tape or something you want to use. You could do that. I'm just going to line this up. Okay. Grab my little folder. And I'm going to glue this to the inside just because that's where I want my tab to be. So I'm going to put glue just on this wider section here like this. Open up my little folder and put this. You could put it bottom, center, top, wherever you want to. And I'm just going to line it up like that. Okay, so there is that. Now if you wanted to cut a little paper right there, like I said, or you could use washi tape, whatever you want to on the back. So I'm going to leave mine like that and fold that up with the little file folder. Then we're going to make things for the front and the inside and all that, okay? For the front here of my little folder, went through my scraps and I cut down this. This is a border strip from the back, you know, of the branding edge. It's got this bit of butterflies, a little bit of the blue still on it, and I cut it down to fit the 6.5, just under 6.5 right here at the top, pretty close. I'm just going to glue that on as a border strip at the top of my folder. Glue on. Move this up, make sure you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to line this up here at the top like that, using every little bit that I can. And then this scrap was already cut like this. The little bit of the bird. Part of the bird's gone, still got the top part of the bird and the flower. And then I cut this darker print here to make a border mat. So I'm going to glue this one down. And what I'm going to do is make a little pocket on the front, a little flat pocket. So double matting this with some scraps, you know, makes it pop a little bit more, looks a little more finished. Then I'm going to take my little bitty 1/2 inch punch, 3/4 inch punch, whatever you might have, and I'm just going to barely do a little notch in the center on the top edge, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this at an angle, put glue on the 2 short ends and across the bottom, across from the notch, and this will make a flat pocket. And I'm just going to angle it like that right there. Okay, just burnish that down. And then I took a little bit of this pink with the green, and it's about three and a quarter, 3.5 wide by 1 3/4 tall. I just folded it in half and burnished it. And I'm going to, let's see, corner punch the opposite from the fold. That. My 3/8 one is kind of acting up with me. I need to sand that off a little bit. It's kind of rough. Okay. Don't want to waste the scrap. So this is going to fit in there like that. A little booklet. Could be a little gift card tag holder. I'm going to take a small hole punch, and I'm just going to punch a little hole in the corner. Then I'm going to take some button string. This is the jute string in the natural color. And I'm just going to thread it to the front side here, even though I did the hole all the way through. I want it to be able to open up. So thread that through. Got a loop. Stick both tails through that loop like that. And then I'm going to just tie, I think, a little bow. I think I'll tie a knot and then tie a bow. So that hole punch, you could have just put it in that one front side but it's okay. Whoever you give it to is not going to notice that, really. Okay, pull my loops down a little bit, make it a little smaller. And I'm just going to trim these off a little bit and stick that in. Now I'm going to see if I have something I want to put on the front of that. I don't know if I can cut it out of paper. We don't have many stickers left. I'll trim these down a little bit more. Okay, so there's that. So let's look at these stickers here. Got a couple of hearts. Take a green heart, put it there, and then I have a pink one. It's only 2 hearts I have left. Right here. And then I have a little, it says, "Oh, my heart." Put it long ways like that. Okay, like that. Stick that in. One more thing I did is I took a sticker strip that says "You deserve this," and I put it along the bottom to kind of finish up where the bird is not complete right there. So that makes that work like that. So now on the inside, I'm going to make a flat pocket for up here. I took this scrap and cut it down to about, where my ruler is, I'll just measure it here, about 6 inches, and matted it to a scrap of the craft cardstock. And I'm going to just punch the little bit of the center of it for a notch. Okay, and then that's going to glue right in there, so just on the 2 short sides. And the long one on the bottom, across from the notch. And then just center that in there where you want it. So mine's about 1/4 from each end and about 1/2 from the bottom. So I'll burnish that in. Okay. Then I took this little scrap. It was already cut. It's just scrap was left that size. And it is about 4 inches. And I also matted it to the craft cardstock scrap to kind of give it a little, you know, dimension. And then I'm also going to punch this one in the center because I'm going to make it a little pocket also. And I think I might offset it like this. Okay, glue on the short ends. And across the bottom. And then it goes like that. Kind of offset that a little bit. Kind of like that. Now then here for this tab on the sticker sheet, this one says "Best Day Ever," and I'm just going to cut that off. And then I'm going to peel that up, and I'm going to use that as a little label here, "Best Day Ever." Like that. You deserve this, best day ever. So now you have a place you could put a gift card in here if you wanted to. Let's see. Use awesome or not. I'll put that one. What I think I'll do is I'll put it on some craft cardstock to kind of make it go with the rest. A little scrap here. Take my scissors and trim around it. So this is kind of like a little label thing here. You could have folded it in half and used it as a tab. Didn't think about that. Oops, I'm off camera. Sorry about that. Let me move up. I'm just trimming around it, leaving a little bit of a border. got a little notch in here. Okay. So I did that. It says awesome. And I am just going to put that right over here like a little pocket maybe. Yeah. So I'm going to, not that I have anything that will go in it, but I'm still just going to make it a little pocket. You never know. Might have a little scrap you want to stick in there. Make a mini, tiny, tiny tag would be cute. So I'm just going to stick that over there. Okay, leave it open right in here so we can, yeah, put a little tag in there. This was another scrap that is about 4.5 by 3, whatever size you have, fold it in half, furnish it. It makes like a little photo type booklet. And around my corners, but I'm going to grab my 1/4 inch one, I think, because the other one's kind of tattery. There we go, that's better. So that's just going to fit in there like that with other things that I might add. Let's see if we have a piece of patterned paper that would look, flowers or something that would look good on it. A little scrap. That one only has part of a butterfly. My scraps are, wow, I really used a lot. Now this might be cute, just tucked in there. I'm just going to round the corners real quick. This little newsprint. So I'm just going to tuck it in there for something to have. And then I think this black one here, I'm going to put it on the front. So I'm just going to glue it on. I'm going to lay it on here and just cut it down to fit. Flip it over. Right there. That's the back side. So I think that looks better within half a butterfly. I'm going to lay that right in the center. And see, you could just, you know, put photos in there. It's kind of cute. That. Actually, I think, I don't know. Let me turn this into a little booklet too. Ah, that's what I'll do. Fold that in half. Got the corners already rounded. And that will tuck into this pocket like that. Okay. So let's keep thinking about what we want to put in our little folder. I'm liking how it's turning out. Looks super cute. Okay, so for this top part of our little folder, in this little pocket, because this little booklet I have added the stripe, and then I found this piece of check that matches the pocket that had just a little bit of pink still on it, pink check. So this is another one of those branding strips. So always save those with your scraps because they come in handy for little border strips or things like that. So I'm going to glue this right on top of this little booklet to kind of give it a little more pizzazzy that I can. So right here in the center. Like that. Let's make sure it's centered and straight. There we go. Then I'm going to slip it back in. And then I cut from the white 3 by 3 and 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And I rounded the corners. So I'm going to make a little photo mat to tuck in there. And if you wanted to make this kind of like a little junk journal type thing, you could add some little music sheet paper that you folded up or something like that to really dress it up, a piece of a doily. Like I have one laying here, a little doily that I didn't have with the collection, but you know, if you wanted to lay that in there to kind of dress that up, if it's for a girl maybe, you just kind of tuck that in like that. It's kind of cute. That little piece there's got a little tear on it. Let me turn it around. Okay, so that kind of looks cute in there, like that peeking out. So we've got that booklet. And then this little booklet here, I added this sticker, Bloom and Grow, to kind of dress it up. And then I cut a tiny piece from the branding strip to fit. And I'm going to make it like a little booklet binding. So I just folded that in half, and I'm going to put glue on each half, but not the fold. Oops. Doesn't take much. Take my little booklet, put the fold of it into the fold of the little piece of paper, and just burnish that down. That just gives that little decorations there on the edge. Trim it a little bit if it needs it, if it sticks out just a tiny bit right there. So I like to play with little bits of paper, so tuck that one in there. Okay, and then I want to make a little tag. So I cut a little tiny piece that's about an inch, 7/8 wide, 7/8 of an inch wide. And then it's only about an inch, almost an inch and a half. Now it's too small for my corner rounder, and I cut a piece of pattern paper that's going to fit it right there. So I'm just going to take my scissors and just round my own corners a little bit. Doesn't take much. Then I'm going to angle them at the top a little bit. Whoops, they're not the same. I don't angle very good. That's better. So then that's going to go there. So they're going to have to be angled too. And round these little corners just the tiniest bit. And then glue that on. A little bit of a flower in this little tiny. Now, if you have a die, I have a die that I could have made my little tag with. Just sitting here, and I thought, well, I'll just do it this way. So that was kind of crooked right there. Because I know I have a die like that on some of the Heartfelt Creations dies, and then I'm going to punch a tiny hole, or a small one, as small as I can, here at the top. That. And then take a bit of the button string and just kind of stick it in it. And then on the bottom part, I think I'm just going to put some photo mats. I'm going to tie a knot up a ways on this. I'll show you just a second here. Couple of photo mats down at the bottom part here. And then this will be done. And I still have some scraps left that I guess I will make a card. Possibly. Okay, so then this just slips in this little pocket here. It's going to be a little tight, but it'll go because I measured it. There we go. It's a little pocket, little tag in there just for fun. Okay, so let's I'll cut a couple of mats for down here, and I may have here on the bow, I forgot to tell you, I added, I didn't want my bow to come untied, so I added a little bit of glue and one of the medium-sized enamel dots that I had left. I think I have a couple of small ones, but none of them match. So I think on this is going to be cute. I'm going to put one in the corner, just a tiny dot of glue. Oops, one there and one there. And though there are 3 different colors, I want to go ahead and use them. Don't want to waste anything. that one in the middle, in the corner, a little dark green, and then the light green here, and then the pink. And that finishes off all the enamel dots that I got in my design team package. Get a little bit of glue there, wipe that off. Okay, it will dry clear. Don't panic. Just spacing them out a little bit. There we go. Okay, that dresses that up really cute. Okay, now for a couple of photo mats. Or if you had a frame or something, but I think a photo mat would be best. And then we can make a tie wraparound, probably with seam binding ribbon. So let me cut my papers and then I'll show you the photo mats. For the little photo mats down here, I'm using the pink, and these guys are cut at 3 by 3.5. There's 2 of them, and I'm going to go ahead and round the corners using my 1/4 inch because my 3/8 inch is not punching well. I don't know if it's always been that way, perhaps, but anyway, I like the 1/4 inch too. So this is my 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch is my go-to chomper anyway. I should just keep it right here on my desk instead of putting it back in the drawer. So anyway, we've got those done. So they're going to go kind of staggered just a bit. Well, I corner rounded them. But then I was going to put these little mat things on here. Photo corners, which I think will dress it up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've got these little squares. Got 2. I need 4 of these little squares. I'm cutting it out this little scrap here. They're about 3/4 inch, I think, give or take. I'm just guessing. Okay, so once I have the little squares, I cut them at a diagonal right across with my scissors, and that's going to make the little corners that I'm going to put, which I'm not going to put these in the corners. I'm going to glue those down and then put the corners on top so that a photo can just be slipped in there. Does that make sense? So let's cut these. Now, if you have a photo corner punch, you could use that instead of this, but this will work if you don't have that. So let's glue these photo mats down first. And I don't know if I shared before I took a break, stopped the cameras and took a break, I made another little mini booklet here. I'll show you just in case. It may already be on the video, but I can't remember, and I'm not gonna stop right now and go look on there. So I'll just share it again if I haven't already. Then that's okay. Okay, here we go. Let's glue these guys down. Like I said, I'm staggering them just a tiny bit. There's not much room otherwise. So this is just a little scrap that I had. It was was the branding thing on this pink and green. So that's why you've got the double, and it looks like, reminds me of Neapolitan ice cream. I don't know why Neapolitan ice cream's not green. 2.5 by 1 3/4 folded in half, rounded those 2 little corners, and I'm just going to slip it in there like that. Okay, and then we got these guys, and so now these little corners are not very big, and you've got to be very careful with your glue. So I'm just putting a dot of glue at each point. I think that will work just fine. And then I'm going to, off where I rounded it, and I shouldn't have rounded it, I'm going to put the corners kind of off of the mat just a little bit. So you don't, if you're going to put the corners, you don't have to do the rounding. Makes sense? Sometimes I get ahead of myself and then I forget what I was planning on. There's that one. So I am putting 4 on each one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to speed up the video while I do that. Okay, so there they are. I like those little corners on there. You can just slip your photo in there. If not, you can just trim it to fit in there and still have that decorative look on there. So that's the inside of the folder. I like how it looks. So this folds up. You still got a little bit of that doily sticking up. Do we need something else? I don't know if I have enough of anything to really do something else here on the front. We could do a little photo mat if you wanted to. I'm trying to think if there was some other idea that I was thinking of doing. I know I was going to put the seam binding ribbon, and I think I'm going to use pink. There's not really any black on this one, so I'm going to cut off a good piece of pink, and I may double it. So let's see what we got. Yes, I buy seam binding sometimes by the roll. I use so much sometimes, and I have a good amount of it in my stash, though I do get different and new colors from Country Craft Creations that you can order by the yard, so do check that out when you're shopping. There's lots of wonderful, wonderful colors. So I'm going to bring this around kind of in the center, and I'm going to tie it up here at the top. Now, I may not need anything here. I don't know yet. If I want anything extra, I'm going to tie a bow. And I probably allowed way too much, but that's okay. I'd rather have more than not enough, because I like a nice big bow. See how that's shorter here on this side. Okay. So I'm going to cut these off the same. Now then, I am going to turn this over. Whoop, I've got it twisted, so I'll have to fix that. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to attach this here on the back with a piece of paper from a scrap of something here. Let's see what we've got that would work. I'm going to cut this. This one's about an inch, so cut it down to an inch. Here, a square. And then I'm just going to attach it over this ribbon. Kind of like that at a diagonal, kind of like a diamond shape. So I'm going to put a little score tape underneath my ribbon. I grab my 3/8 score tape, and then I'm going to attach that ribbon down, and then we'll glue the other over it. So right here, pull the backing off. Oops, maybe. There we go. Attach the ribbon down, and then I'll take my square and some glue, and we'll glue that down. So even when you don't have any stickers or chipboard elements or anything left, you can still make something fun and pretty with your scraps of paper. So there's that. Now I'll untie it and straighten it on the back. And also I'm going to tie my ribbons together. So I'm going to straighten them out and tie a knot in each double set of ribbon. Like that. Don't want to cut it too short here. Bring my knot all the way down, and then just trim a little bit off. And do the same on this one. Keeping them straight. Tie it up. Checking my camera, make sure I'm still recording. Okay, tie that knot. Okay. Now, let's bring it around and tie it all up. Now that we have it straight on the back, Okay, there it is. I like how it turned out. And I don't think I'm going to put anything there. I don't think. I'm just playing with my bow. Get kind of picky sometimes with how a bow turns out. Okay, so there is my little file folder, insert card, whatever you want to call it, using scraps from the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Indigo Garden Paper Collection, and the craft cardstock, artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations. It's a lot of fun, so I'll probably make one more small project. I don't know if that'll be a tutorial or not, but thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out countrycraftcreations.com for your crafting supplies. Give me a thumbs up down below if you like this video and you want to see some more. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click that bell so you'll be notified of my next project. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.